Namo Buddhaya, Namaste. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of answering 2 questions from Juno, a viewer, subscriber who is living in the northeast of India, the land of the Buddha. A great pleasure to hear from you again, Juno, and thank you for letting me know where you are. It's always useful to know people's locations. Thank you. I answered questions on letting go of the notion of not self, and in summary, this is understanding anicca, dukkha, anatta, because it is from these conditions, these faculties of existence, that we build our notion of self, and this can build either positively or negatively into a personality which is to some extent self-created and self-fulfilling. So through meditation, the facetious answer would be just to meditate, the answer to the question. But to give it some more detail, through meditation we can sit, we can develop our minds, become wise, and understand anicca, dukkha, anatta. His other question related to how I came to become a monk. And I gave some information about this, and there's some in the biography in the channel description. But what actually made me become a monk, if there was a light bulb moment, was the realization of the 4 Noble Truths, the teaching of the Buddha, that there is suffering, there is a cause for suffering, there can be an end to suffering, and there is a path leading to the end of suffering. And the path is the Noble Eightfold Path of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right mindfulness, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Concentration actually is a bad translation, it's right samadhi. So this is focused awareness in meditation, as opposed to an open awareness, which is sati, which is mindfulness. Vipassana is sati, mindfulness, seeing clearly all phenomena that we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and think, physically and mentally. Samadhi is focusing our attention on one thing, drawing our conscious awareness in one direction in order to sharpen our ability to focus, and this is where the idea of concentration comes from. It is required that we practice samadhi to be able to develop vipassana, and vipassana to be able to develop samadhi. So like 2 sides of the same hand or the same coin, they go together. Excuse me. So Juno also included in his questions, which I omitted to answer yesterday, how to, let me just check, read it properly. How to let go of habitual tendencies that hinder our meditation. That's a very good question. We call these the hindrances. There are 5 hindrances. They not only hinder our meditation, they are part of everyday life. They hinder our development towards enlightenment, or, to be more accurate, towards becoming free from suffering in this lifetime. If you remember the 4 Noble Truths, there is suffering, a cause of suffering, a path leading to and there is suffering, there is a cause of suffering, there is an end of suffering, and there is a path leading to the end of suffering. Nirodha, the end of suffering, is our goal, to be free from suffering in this lifetime. It isn't an easy job, and there are obstacles on the way, on that path. If we follow the path determinedly, we will get there. And we need to learn to overcome these obstacles, these hindrances, which is what Juno is asking about. So, if we know what they are, it's very much more easy to overcome them. I said there were 5, I will go through them now. The first is sensual desire. So, desire, you will see from when I speak about these things, is really at the root of a lot of our problems. And there is good desire, bad desire, or wholesome desire, unwholesome desire, or chanda and tanha in the Pali. I think you can understand what is good desire, and you can understand what is bad desire. So we don't try to eliminate all desire, but we need to understand our wanting. So sensual desire, in terms of a hindrance towards meditation, and of course an obstacle in the path towards enlightenment in everyday life, is wanting. It is wanting something we don't have. The opposite of that is also wanting, but wanting something we have. And this is ill will, the second of the 2 hindrances. The second of the 2 hindrances, ill will, following sensual desire, which is the first, sensual desire, ill will, is translated as hatred, hate, disliking. I think that's a little strong, because we don't hate too much, I hope so, in this life, but there are many things we dislike, we don't want. Pain, for instance. In meditation, we may have discomfort in our knees, wherever, and want it to go away. Not wanting this pain, or wanting it not to be there, is a desire of not wanting something we have. Or it could be an irritation, a noise, a mosquito buzzing around your ear and biting you. Anything like this is ill will, and it is an obstacle. The third is, they call it sloth and torpor. That just means tiredness, really, or a little bit towards laziness, lack of enthusiasm, lethargy, being lethargic. Often occurs because you've just eaten a meal. This is why monks try to eat little, sleep little, and speak little. These things generate a lot more energy in meditation. Being hungry gives you energy. Being full makes you relax. The hunting instinct is gone. You've satisfied that human, primeval, carnal desire of feeding yourself. This can be overcome. Firstly, get enough sleep. Find the right balance of sleep and work and socializing for your lifestyle. That's the most important thing. Secondly, it can be just because you have some ill will, aversion towards your meditation. You're finding it boring, for instance. Well, boredom in itself is a form of ill will. It's a not wanting there to be nothing to have your attention diverted from what is really going on. It is looking for distraction. It is wanting to be watching some form of entertainment, eating something, either stimulating the eyes, the ears, the smell, the taste, the touch, or the thinking somehow to take your mind away from trying to see clearly through samadhi and vipassana what is going on right now, here in the present moment. This is just where boredom arises from. So one can stimulate this by physically getting rid of eradicating tiredness by breathing more deeply, but bringing your awareness more focused onto the breath, the breathing. Adjusting your posture so that you are ensuring you are upright. This is why we like to sit upright in meditation, with our ears in line with our shoulders, in line with our hips. Now, spine erect means we're not slouching. If you're slouching like this in meditation, you're going to drop off to sleep, or like this, or like this. You need to be erect, like this. So, the fourth is restlessness and worry. Restlessness and worry can always be attributed to concern of things that have happened in the past or things that you think are going to happen in the future. What you must remember is everything that's happened in the past, we are reliant on our memories, and our memories are not 100% accurate. So what we remember is not necessarily always the truth. Also, it has happened. We cannot change it. We cannot go back there. So leave it there. Especially in meditation, sit without concern, without thinking about the past. The future, it hasn't happened yet. And this is based on purely our imagination. Again, it is not real. It is just speculation, imagination. It hasn't happened yet, and we cannot go there yet to find out if it will. So when we really know this and understand this truth, we can bring our attention back to this present moment where there is no restlessness and worry, because in this present moment we just need to sit and be aware of how things are. Not how we think they were or how we think they're going to be. How things are, the truth. And then finally, the fifth hindrance is doubt. Doubt can only be if you don't understand the basis of the practice and why you're doing it. If you know not to recite but understand the Four Noble Truths, there is suffering, a cause of suffering, an end of suffering, and a path towards the end of suffering, and that path, the Noble Eightfold Path of right view, right intention, right speech, right livelihood, right action, right... I said it wrong earlier. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right mindfulness, right samadhi, or right concentration. I think I said right effort, which is one of the parami, instead of right livelihood. However, moving on, it's understanding them, not reciting them, that is important. When you know the Four Noble Truths of suffering and an end of suffering, there can be no doubt because they are the truths. We can only doubt something we are required to believe in. We cannot doubt the truth. It is there. It is evident before us in our experience. Holy. It is the truth. Nothing but the truth cannot be doubted. Hence the word truth. It's what it means. So, doubt, if there is doubt about what you are doing in your practice, if it is working, you need to review the basis on why you are practicing and what you are doing, which should be based on the Buddha's teachings of the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. I'll repeat the Noble Eightfold Path again because of my little error, I think, earlier. It is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right mindfulness, right concentration. Anyway, there would be 8 fingers. So that's the 5 hindrances that get in the way, are obstacles to our meditation and to our attainment of becoming free from suffering in this lifetime throughout our daily lives. If we understand the principles of anicca, dukkha, anatta, that is, everything is changing, uncertain, impermanent, that everything is unsatisfactory or suffering, and that everything is out of our control or no self. Ourselves are just a personality formed as a result of our conditions, our environment that we are in. When we understand this, we can apply this to these hindrances. For instance, if you have sensual desire for something, a pleasure, a distraction, rather than just going and getting it, you can ask yourself this question: is it something I need? If you're really thirsty, you may need to drink some water. That is okay. Drink some water, the desire has gone. But if, excuse me, you're not very, very thirsty, but you really would like to have some Pepsi Cola or some whatever, 7-Up, because it would be nice and it would distract your attention away from boredom, then this is not so good. And knowing that, you can say, well, this is anicca, will come into force in a short while, and this desire will go away. Of course, if you're thirsty and you need water, then this won't go away until you satisfy the need. But if you just want Pepsi Cola or 7-Up, this desire will go away. It is impermanent. Ill will, the opposite, or the wanting something to go away, or not wanting something you have, similarly, because of anicca, will also pass. The pain will not be permanent. It may sit throughout your meditation. You may suffer pain of some kind, sadly, throughout your life, especially as we get older towards the end of our lives. We have pains and discomfort that doesn't go away. But we are impermanent. We will die. That pain will be gone. You don't have to wait for pain to go away, or you don't have to wait till you die for your pain to go away, but you can bring your attention to what you do have that you like. You can use meditation as a way to focus your awareness, practice focusing your awareness away from the pain, eventually away from the pain, towards the more pleasurable aspects of life. And there are many ways through meditation we can work on pain. That's a whole nother talk. And with regards to sloth and torpor, or lethargy, tiredness, I've spoken about how to remedy that with the correct amount of sleep, watching the breath. If you really are tired, you can get up and start practicing some walking meditation up and down after a certain amount of time. Maybe splash your face with some water, open your eyes for a little bit and look at light. This helps awaken you up. Restlessness and worry. Just leave all thoughts of the past behind you before you sit, and all thoughts of the future ahead of you for after you've finished sitting. And in everyday life, the same. Concentrate mindfully on what you're doing now in the present moment, and restlessness and worry will go away. It will pass. Doubt, if you understand the Four Noble Truths, they are the truth. There is no doubt. So that's the 5 hindrances. I've approached it in a slightly different way to what you may have heard before, because there are some very good teachings on the 5 hindrances offered by the Buddha, and subsequently in suttas with similes. We can look at that on another occasion. I've approached it in a slightly different way because that's already been done many, many times. But you can look them up. I always encourage people to understand or read the suttas, and if you are looking for resources, there are plenty on the internet for that purpose. So I've answered again your question today, Juno, and I'm going to move on to some other questions in my next video. I'm going to keep these videos to a reasonably short length, and I'm going to keep meditation videos, chanting videos, talking videos, Dharma talk videos, and questions and answers videos in kind of separate formats, which makes it easier for you to find and select. And if you're downloading videos onto a mobile device using data and such like, as I found in the past, you don't really want to download 40 minutes of silence because data may be precious and of course it takes time. So if it says meditation in the title, guided meditation or meditation, it will be just that. If it says questions and answers, it will be just that. If it says Dharma talk, it will be just that. If it's about cows, it will be just that. So I'll leave it there for today. Apologise for my mix-up of errors. I had some distraction. You know, even monks can be a little bit distracted from time to time, which may have thrown my thought off. I was perhaps trying a little too hard to remain focused. Sometimes we need to relax and watch the breath and bring ourselves into the present moment and not try to rush ahead. So I'll give you a short blessing. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa sabitiyo vivajantu sabbaroko vinyasatu mate bhavato vantarayo sukhi digayuko bhavam. Sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu, sukhi hotu, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.